Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. Today is September 7th, 2021. It is my father's birthday and also a very important day for the industry as a whole. I joined the Bitcoin space a very long time ago, and 2011 was a different time. Then the concept of an altcoin meant a fork of Bitcoin, usually was a slightly different monetary policy. The arguments were over things like uh, name coin and should we have metadata in the chain or not? And also, people didn't take things too seriously. There wasn't a lot of maximalism. It was more differences of opinion about where to meet over core philosophical differences or large amounts of money. Bitcoin was not at $1 billion. It was barely at a few hundred million. And even that, you couldn't sell more than a few thousand, maybe 10, 20,000 a day and not expect to move the market. The largest exchange, I think, around then was either Mt. Gox or we were doing it on spreadsheets. And there were certainly early days. I remember very finely having Crossfire cards, 5850s, and four of them 1.2 gigahashes. And I thought I was a badass and getting a few Bitcoin every day. And it didn't get a huge ROI because back then Bitcoin was about $4. The industry's grown a lot. I don't recognize the majority of the faces. I still see some of the old ones like Eric Voorhees and Roger Ver. And there's a lot of ones I miss, like Hal Finney is gone and Mike Hearn is gone. Gavin Andresen is gone. And they added a lot to the dialogue and the conversation. And it's sad to see them go. Bitcoin has grown to a point where not only do nation states now take it seriously, today a nation state decided to embrace it at a level of making it legal tender. This is a moment for our entire industry, regardless of whether you live in the Bitcoin sphere or outside of it in the altcoin sphere, the alternative coin. It is a moment to reflect how far we've gone in 12 years' time from a single inventor or inventors, small group, inspired by ideas that came a long time ago from the 1980s to 1990s to the 2000s to create something that was an experiment, not really intended to succeed, but rather prove a point to potentially the currency of the world. Right now, the currency of the nation state of El Salvador. It's a pretty remarkable journey if you think about that. There frankly is nothing in human history that has grown that quickly, that aggressively, and has inspired this degree of philosophical conversation, polarization, and opinions to form. Now, within our own industry, we certainly have very strong differences of opinion about technology and sustainability and how things ought to be done. But today is really not a time for that. Today is a more fundamental time to recognize that the contributions of every innovator in this industry have collectively led to a point where every single nation state from here on forward has to actually have a cryptocurrency strategy, cryptocurrency regulation, a view on how cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology are going to be used or misused for their national interests. It's a pretty remarkable achievement that something so nascent, small, and without any centralized coordination has been able to accomplish this. And it makes me proud to be in this industry. And it makes me proud to know many of the innovators who have achieved this. And as I said, we all have differences of opinion and strong personalities. And at times we say harsh things, especially over Twitter. But at the end of the day, there is more that unites us than divides us, if we're being intellectually honest. And we're not alone anymore. Back in 2011, it was a very small group of people, probably tens of thousands on Bitcoin Talk and Reddit and a few other places, some meetup groups here and there, good place to get a beer, but that's pretty much it. Now, in 2021, the movement is in at least the tens of millions, if not over 100 million people. The majority of people under the age of 25 have a positive view of cryptocurrencies, and a lot of them own them. That's the future. Their children will grow up with those values and those beliefs about the nature of money. So, in a certain respect, we as an industry won. And now we're just kind of sorting out the details of what that actually means. And in the coming years, many more nation states will use crypto as part of their monetary policy, either as reserves in their central banks, using cryptocurrency rails for central bank settlement, especially for non BIS members, or potentially just simply taking a cryptocurrency, as El Salvador has done, and make it the national currency. And what this does is it legitimizes the belief that we should be in control of the money in our pocket, and we should be ultimately in control of how that money moves and who receives it, not trusted third parties who we've never met, we know very little about, and in many cases are adversarial to the people of the country. So crypto is definitely not only here to stay, it's very clear that crypto is going to change the world and already has in many ways. I'd also like to take a moment to thank all the people who made this happen, from Marty Malmy to the rest. It was a long journey and a short one, paradoxically. Long in that every year seems to be like 10 years. Short in that 12 years is a remarkably small amount of time, if we really think about it. And it's incredible to see how so many people came together, almost all of them in the grand scheme of things, uncompensated, and for the greater good, did some amazing things. It could be Peter Willey, it could be Greg Maxwell, it could be Jeff Garzik. There's a lot of heroes there, a lot of incredible achievements like BIP32, HD wallets. That's pretty remarkable if you think about that concept. And dozens of other things that were absolutely necessary. BitPay's work with CoPay, which later became, I think, BitPay Wallet. I've been using that for years for our multi-sig for Bitcoin. It's great. It's just an amazing piece of free infrastructure. I remember when they sponsored the St. Petersburg Bowl. It became the Bitcoin Bowl. I think that was 2013 or 2014. I can't remember the year, but it was somewhere around that range. A lot of little stuff like that. I remember when Janet Yellen, I think it was when she was trying to become either the Federal Reserve Chairwoman or the Treasury Secretary, see how things run together. And there's someone behind her with a little caption, "Buy Bitcoin." So many thousands of these moments. Each and every one of them matters. Every single one of them is what is responsible for the collective win as an industry of overcoming the concept of legitimacy. We're now there, and better or worse, Bitcoin is here to stay, and better or worse, crypto is here to stay, and the world is just going to have to deal with it. It cannot be ignored anymore. There's certainly going to be fights to come, and we'll see many on the horizon, but that's for tomorrow. Today is a day that, especially the people in the Bitcoin space who stuck with it a lot longer than most of us in the altcoin space did, congratulations. It's really good to see you guys get there. And it's really good to see what you've been able to continue to do. There is a lot of potential still with Bitcoin on the horizon. I've been harsh from time to time, especially about its rate of evolution and its utility, but it's here, and people do treat it as a store of value, and there's consensus that its existence is ultimately beneficial, and that's why the industry is where it's at. So tomorrow I'll wake up and still be as competitive as always. But tonight, I'm definitely going to drink a beer for Bitcoin. And I think we all should too. Congratulations and good work. And keep up the good work. Cheers.